Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to the FiredHoplite stream channel, however you're viewing this. So, Marathon, final thoughts after the server slam. I think Bungie's got a game here. I think they've got something that they can build on and that it will make them money. I do not think it is a huge hit. It is definitely not Game of the Year. I don't think it's going to dethrone Arc Raiders. Not in its launch anyway. Maybe over time it could. I don't think so though. What we're looking at here is a pretty specialized, high skill, intense extraction shooter. This one's not really for the buddies or the players that just want to have a casual time, cooperate with each other like you sometimes see in Arc Raiders. This is going to be a much more hardcore game. As far as the game itself goes, I don't have a big problem with the UI. You're going to see that come up a lot. I think the gunplay is pretty good. I don't think the character models are very great, even though I do like the art style overall. It's mid. It's a 6 or a 7. And from Bungie, that's going to count as a loss. That's not going to count as a good enough. And what everybody's going to judge this about is if they could have had Destiny 3, which might have been a throwback to a game where you've got a single-player campaign, solid PvP, and a character that people are going to care about. Most people would tell you they would have preferred that to this. What I actually think Marathon is the stopgap in between Bungie either launching their new IP that will be their masterpiece and what they go all in on, or Destiny 3. I actually hope they do a brand new IP. Give people what they want. What the new trend is going to be moving forward is definitely single-player campaigns, single-player focused games, and if you can deliver rock-solid first-person shooter, 8-on-8, 10-on-10, 12-on-12, 4-on-4, widest variety of game modes you can at launch, that's going to be your next monster game. It's not going to be an extraction shooter made for the sweats, and that's what Marathon is. So, Bungie didn't miss. This is not a High Guard, this is not a Conquered, but this is not going to be a smash hit either. So this is a niche game that might generate Bungie a good amount of money for whatever their next project is. I really hope they did not go all in on this. I really hope this was not a big budget game for them. I'm hoping their budget was under 100 million and that they're looking at, 5 million copies sold, or 4 million copies sold at $40, and then the money that's spent on microtransactions or whatever after that. If they get that, they'll be happy. And this game, they're probably looking to support this game 4 years, probably until the PS6 comes out, and then they're going to launch whatever they've got. So that's pretty much it. Overall, I think the game is fine. I don't think it's like I said before, it's not a smash hit. There's not a ton to bite into. It's obviously just the server slam, but I don't think there's a single player component to this game. So what you're looking at is what you get basically, except there'll be different maps. I don't think there's going to be any different game modes. So that's the problem with extraction shooters, is you can't really do other game modes. The game mode is extraction. If they added a straight up PvP to this, which maybe they will in the future, I think that's the way they need to go. They need to almost add a story mode, and they need to add PvP to this, and then you have the extraction shooter as part of that game. But, that's not what this is. So, I think if people thought that's what it was going to be, they're going to be disappointed. If people were expecting this, then, they'll be happy. And I think you'll see streamers and competitive players will definitely gravitate more towards this game than, say, Arc Raiders. Or Helldivers, too. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. That's the review. So now we'll play a run. Nice little send off before it all ends tonight. So I think what you're going to end up with is probably a pretty divisive social media. It's gotten kind of nasty already, but that's mostly from people who are anti-Bungie for whatever reason, and then I think there's people out there in the gaming space, gaming conversation. They're not even anti the take; they're anti the people giving the take, and so they almost take the opposite stance out of frustration or anger, but it just makes it look even worse.
Backup systems primed for your exfil.
Because
or demise.
Then you're just like, okay, who cares? You know, or like neither one of you are being rational, and I can't have an intelligent debate about the game. So why would I keep talking to you? Oh, I didn't realize there was a guy up there. Hey, what's in this building? I feel like I've been here before, but like, it's hard to say. Because I do like Arc Raiders, but it's not really my cup of tea either. But would I be... see, this is where last night I was a no on this over Arc Raiders, but maybe, I don't know. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm playing this, maybe I would play this over Arc Raiders long term. But again, it's like, I don't know. This is going to be a grind. I kind of left that out of my opening, only because that's an assumption I'm making. You know, maybe they tweaked the XP, and the Rook thing seems to be interesting, where it's, if you just want to... I have to read it more carefully, but the Rook loadout is basically, if you're just going to run as fast as possible and you don't want to risk losing anything, they put in the Rook so that, okay, you actually gain XP at a higher rate, you just can't bring anything into the game. I actually think that's pretty smart. That's like an interesting twist to put in this. Like an extraction shooter where there's heroes. That to me, I guess, is what this was a hero extraction shooter. And I don't know if there's a ton of those out there, I guess. That was their, like, oh, here we go. Here's like the twist. Like, what are we doing different than other extraction shooters? Well, it's like, you know, you have a loadout, but you also are controlling a shell or a hero. And like, okay, I can see where that would be interesting. But I still think what they should have done, had they been projecting correctly, oh, I wandered into all of them. Yeah. Had they projected correctly, they would have given a huge first-person campaign. PvP mode, traditional PvP, Halo-esque, if I may be so bold as to say that. And then the extraction maps on top of it. If you did that, I think people would be a lot more excited for this game. But the fact that this is just the straight extraction shooter, and the PvP only happens within the extraction maps, I think that was a mistake. And then I don't know if they've got some weird agreements with 343 or whatever. Hack terminal intersection complex or bioresearch. I gotta change the map, I think. Prepare. Okay. Dire Marsh. So, yeah, it's just people would have preferred, I think, a more traditional Bungie offering. And like even Destiny focused on the PvP, but at least you had the campaign. Now the campaign wasn't good, and the Peter Dinklage thing still makes me laugh to this day because he dogged his voice acting lines so hard. I can't even remember ever playing a game like that where it was that noticeable, that bad, and that noticeable. It was crazy. Destiny 1, Peter Dinklage's original voice work. If you know, you know. That was like the craziest, worst voice acting I've ever heard in my life. I mean, I would love, that would be my interview question to Peter Dinklage. Be like, what were you going for? And why were you drunk when you recorded those lines? It was just brutal.